The Biden administration struggles to calm the Democratic storm over immigration. That is a very favorable headline from Politico about what a total mess things are. Welcome back to Clay and Buck here. Let's just be very clear about what's going on. Struggles to calm the Democrat storm. Yeah, that's because Democrats who are in tight races know that they're going to be trying to honestly lie to the American people about what their party really believes when it comes to immigration at a time when you will have the southern border just overrun, blown open. I mean, fentanyl flowing across in numbers we've probably never seen before. Illegal aliens pouring across in numbers we've never seen before. And it's all happening under Biden. Notice that they're running out of the it's a coincidence room here. Inflation starts when Biden takes control, when Biden's regime comes in. Oh, it's a coincidence that it just happens to start when Joe Biden is going. You say, all right, there was a lot of spending in 2020 under the Trump administration, too, because of COVID. So maybe there's a little bit, but I mean, that's... Oh, wait, but crime starts rising with BLM, the Democrat movement that the corporations were all supporting and sponsoring, and it led to riots and all that. And you look at when homicides were going up. You look at when crime was going up, and it's the beginning of the BLM movement in 2020. Is that a coincidence for the Democrats, too? That's a coincidence. Oh, the withdrawal from Afghanistan is a total disaster happens on Joe Biden's watch. Coincidence, or maybe they're just not good at this? And now illegal immigration. You look at year over year. You look at what's going on. I mean, you don't even have to take my word for it. You just look at some of the illegals who are showing up at the border with Biden T-shirts on, which they have literally, and I mean that in the actual sense of the word, they have shown up in Biden T-shirts. They have told journalists down there, they say, excuse me, sir, excuse me, madam, why are you coming across the border this time? They say, well, because Joe Biden is president. The Democrat establishment realizes this is a problem because the game that they play is as an election gets closer, they talk tough on how they want border security. Oh, we want border security, too. I read the whole Mayorkas DHS memo, and it goes into detail about strict immigration enforcement. And that's laughable. Ask anybody involved in the immigration enforcement process. Talk to someone at Border Patrol. I'm sure a lot of you, first of all, I know Border Patrol members listen to this show, and thank you for what you do, because a lot of them are really underappreciated in the national discourse because the Democrats don't want to speak the truth, which is that Border Patrol are defending our borders and enforcing U.S. law and sovereignty. But ask any of them. Ask anyone who's down there at the border, and you'll be told, no, it's ridiculous. They're talking about being unable to handle the surge. We can't, with rule of law in place, handle what's already going on. We don't even know where, say, dozens of people. And I hate when people go too far or they say something that's an exaggeration about the border, because then it's, oh, gosh, now they're just going to point to that, say, see, the right is stirring things up again. It's not true. I had to look this one up. I had to make sure this one was true. I had to ask numerous people that are students of and data nerds of the border. It turns out that there are people on the terror watch list who are verified by fingerprint scan who have gotten into the country. Where are they? Well, here is DHS Secretary Mayorkas just yesterday being asked by our buddy Congressman Jim Jordan about this. Here's how that went.
Secretary, have any of the 42 illegal migrants on the terrorist watch list or no-fly list encountered on our southwest border been released into the United States?
Ranking Member Jordan, as I mentioned before, I will provide that data to you with respect to the disposition of each one. I do not know the answer to your question.
The Secretary of Homeland Security does not know the answer to the status of 42 individuals who came to our southern border illegally, are on the no-fly list and the terrorist watch list. You do not know whether they are been released or not into the country. That's your testimony.
Ranking Member Jordan, as I've said before, I will provide you the data.
Doesn't seem to know. I mean, I'd like us to know that. I think that's important. I think when you have people who are on the terror watch list, and remember, because I asked the question, I said, hold on a second. I spoke to some of my contacts, said, could this be a name mismatch issue? Someone whose name's spelled similar to somebody on the, no, fingerprint verified, apparently. I have to say, that to me seems like it's something we should be getting a very clear answer to. Who's coming into the country and what are they doing when they're here? The answer, my friends, is they don't really know. And this is just who's being processed. This is who we actually are apprehending. This is who we're taking into custody. Gotaways. These are the people who, and I just to explain how it works, think about it this way. I've seen this happen. I was down, what was it now, about 18 months ago in the Rio Grande sector of the border, and you would have a family. And this was the same thing I saw in El Paso at the border, and the same thing I saw at the San Diego-Tijuana border. You had families come and wave down Border Patrol. Now, Border Patrol goes over there, and they're apprehending people, but they're not an imminent security threat, obviously. These are women and children. They want to make sure they're safe. They bring them food. They take them to the hospital. And because we are the American people and we are a good and moral people, of course, we see women and children in jeopardy. We're going to do that, right? But what happens then a mile down when they've got Border Patrol members who are making hospital runs, sometimes using their own funds to go buy diapers? This is real. This is what's happening at your southern border right now. What happens is then a mile down the road, they run a pickup truck with enough fentanyl to kill 50,000 people. They run that right across the border. Or they run 50 adult male migrants, probably with criminal records, probably because otherwise, if they didn't have the criminal record, they'd join a family unit. You see, there are reasons why they do it this way. All of this is being is a huge cash cow. All of this is a huge source of funds for the Mexican transnational drug cartels. Right? They're making some estimates I've seen say in a given week they could make more money even off the human smuggling than the drug smuggling. Think about that, because that's how much control they're exerting at the border. And so when they talk about gotaways, they're people that just made it free and clear into the country. I brought this up to you. I said, what do you think the number is? For fiscal year 2021, DHS Mayorkas, Secretary Mayorkas, testified there were 389,000 plus known gotaways. So coming up on 400,000 people. For fiscal year 22, which began on October 1st, and hat tip, by the way, to Fox News reporting down at the border for getting these. Bill Malugin doing great work down at the border for getting these numbers out there. 300,000 gotaways so far, fiscal year 22. Well, we're halfway into fiscal year 22, 300,000. So we'll easily be at, keep in mind, post Title 42, you're looking at 500,000 to 1 million gotaways. Those are people who never even check in. We have no idea who they are. We have no idea what they're bringing into the country. They know full well that they could join a family unit and claim asylum and try to game the system that way. But no. They want to just make a run for it. Literally make a run for it across the border. That's what they're doing. 500,000? 1 million this year? And now that doesn't even take into account, I just want you to understand the numbers that we're discussing. That doesn't take into account that last year there were 2 million apprehensions, and call it half of them are in the country under some pretext, whether it's a notice to appear or whatever. There's so many ways the system breaks down, and that's what they're all counting on. That was before Title 42 goes away. A lot of them who were turned away under Title 42 grounds. So what's going to happen now? I mean, when you understand the numbers and the pull factors, you see that this is just going to get remarkably worse. It is going to be lawless. It is going to be completely out of the federal government's control. And Mayorkas is just full of it. And here's why. The Democrats don't oppose this, my friends. The Democrats pretend going into this midterm. They pretend when they're asking for votes from moderates and centrists and independents and even, conservative-leaning Democrats. In swing states, they say, we want border security too. We just want comprehensive immigration reform. Here's the truth. They want amnesty. They think they are importing future Democrat voters. People who will rely on the state, people who will be in favor of more state benefits, higher taxation to redistribute wealth. That's the Democrat mindset. And here is Mayorkas straight up saying it. Yeah, he wants amnesty.
Will you commit to oppose any form of amnesty or modification of legal status of those who are in this country illegally who have entered during your tenure?
Congressman, I fully support and have for many years legislative reform that once and for all fixes our broken immigration system.
I'll take it that you won't make that statement now.
No, I actually will if you would allow me. And that involves a path to citizenship for those who have been in this country for many years.
So the answer is you would support amnesty of some kind?
Yes, that is the answer. They can try to change the words around to a pathway to citizenship, amnesty. That's what this is all heading toward. And I think we're at the point where the Democrats are willing at some level to sacrifice their midterm prospects, and they know the Biden administration's a joke, in order to they're just kicking the doors as wide open as they can. And they'll regroup, and whether it's in 4 years or 8 years or whatever, they will get that amnesty. And then suddenly, you know what they'll say? Oh, it's not 11 million illegal aliens or 11.7 or whatever the official number is for legal migrants. It's more like 25, maybe 30, something like that. I mean, if we're talking about 8 years, 10 years, some say it's 20 right now. No one really knows the actual number, but that's the plan, folks. That's what they're doing.